So then guys, it's basically been a month now since the iPhone 16 models have come out, and today I want to give you my experience with living with the iPhone 16 Pro Max in the last sort of 30 days or so, how much I've enjoyed it, and also for you guys how similar it really is to the last year's model, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And let me explore this further with you today. Now, first of all, let's talk about the design and the build quality. Here is my 15 Pro Max, and let's do a difference comparison. And you can see here straight away that obviously the 16 Pro Max is ever so slightly taller. Not by much at all really, but you can see that the back sort of finish is very similar to what we had last year here and how it reflects and everything like that. But I've noticed straight away just holding this is that in finger marks and things like this doesn't get as many. They look a bit more evident, I think, in my opinion, here on the sort of old 15 Pro Max, but the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you still get some, but they're not as evident, I think, the fingerprints. That's just my opinion there, but you still do get them, I think. So yeah, on that. Obviously the main difference here on the side is obviously we've got this new camera capture button here, what looks absolutely awesome, what we're going to be testing out in another video and everything. But apart from that, antennas and everything exactly the same. Let's have a look at the bottom of this phone then and compare them. So yeah, there we go. We've actually got exactly the same there, USB-C, same amount of drill holes and everything like that. Action button, volume buttons, SIM card, because obviously we got one, exactly the same there. And then having a look at the top here, you know, again, it's exactly the same. There's no sort of differences whatsoever there. And then obviously the rear of the phones, yeah, you can actually tell that obviously it's slightly bigger really. Apart from that, I'd actually say the camera square's probably about the same size. That would be my opinion there. It's about the same and everything. But overall, a beautiful looking phone and everything. So yeah, very impressed with that. So then guys, just quickly, I want to tell you about these brand new Sharge CarbonMag 5K and 10K power banks because they are quite extraordinary. Both these power banks can just snap onto the back of your iPhone because they're MagSafe compatible, and the 10K one is even Qi 2 certified, so this means it can MagSafe charge at 15 watts for your brand new iPhone. The difference between both of these power banks is that the 10K has a 10,000 milliamp battery inside and the 5K has a 5,000 milliamp battery inside. So you've got the choice then of having something super slim and light. In fact, it's only weighing 120 grams, so that's less than say an iPhone 16, and just slapping that onto the back of your phone, or you can have double the capacity with the 10K. Not only this, both of them have PD 20 watt charging capability by USB-C. So this means that you could MagSafe charge up one iPhone and then via USB-C charge up a different iPhone if you wanted to do that. What is super awesome. And one of the great things I love about them, they're actually made out of recycled carbon fiber. So you know that Sharge is doing their bit for the environment, and also you are too with purchasing these. And talk about purchasing these power banks, if you want to find out more information about them, do check out all the details that are below in the description of these videos for both of these CarbonMag power banks from Sharge. And with that, let's return back to the main video. So next of all, what about the actual display on the iPhone 16 Pro Max? Now, do you remember at the beginning of the video, I said that the iPhone 16 Pro Max is very similar to the iPhone 15 Pro Max? Well, this here is a classic example. The iPhone 16 Pro Max screen technology is basically the same as the 15 Pro Max. You know, we've got the same kind of ProMotion display, OLED the screen inside of it. I think the only one difference is that the iPhone 16 Pro Max can go down to 1 nit of brightness, and I think the iPhone 15 Pro Max can go down to 2 or 3. There's not really much difference there whatsoever. And the obvious big change with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's a 6.9 inch display instead of 6.7 inch display. But really, with using these phones over the last 2 years, well, even not 2 years, even the last year and sort of extra month between them, when I switched from the iPhone 15 Pro Max to the 16 Pro Max, I was expecting that I would feel a big difference, that this has got a large display inside of it, and I would actually notice it. And I'm going to be honest here, in the last 30 days, I have really not noticed any kind of display kind of differences whatsoever. Even if, say, the iPhone 16 Pro Max display is slightly larger, when I'm watching media and content and things like this, really I have not noticed any differences whatsoever compared to the last year's model. And that's one thing I'm going to say there. So everything that I've said about the iPhone 16 Pro Max with its brightness and how great that was, and the same with the iPhone 14 Pro Max and how great the brightness was and how great that screen is, really this is replicated over to the iPhone 16 Pro Max this time round. But next of all, what about the performance of the iPhone 16 Pro Max? And I've shown here some benchmarks here just to do some comparisons, and you can see here with Geekbench 6 here, comparing the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Obviously the iPhone 16 Pro Max is a bit faster, and then obviously we're doing 3D benchmarks as well. Obviously the iPhone 16 Pro Max with that A18 Pro compared to the A17 Pro, well, of course, yeah, it is faster, but it's not that much difference. And again, for my needs and everything that I've been doing, I've really not seen on a day-to-day basis any differences between having the iPhone 16 Pro Max to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I think that's one of the things, again, what I'm just really going to say, there's just been no differences. And it's the same with the software experience. And I feel that more than ever this year, that especially the Apple Intelligence is both compatible on the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. You are literally getting a neck and neck experience between both of these phones. There is literally no differences whatsoever with Apple Intelligence. You know, I've tried iOS 18.1 on both of these phones, and really I am getting the exact same experience, no delays, nothing seems faster. And the main reason behind that is because obviously there's only 8GB of RAM in both of these devices, no differences there. And as you just saw there with the performance checks, you know, the A18 Pro is only slightly ahead than the A17 Pro. So really, I'm not experiencing any big differences. But the only one thing I say where there is going to be a difference in the future is obviously the capture button here on the side of the iPhone 16 Pro Max, where we can look up things. This is going to be a feature that's going to drop into the future, but obviously it's not available now, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max won't be able to do that with its software and Apple Intelligence. Maybe there is a way that you can do it in the camera app. We just don't know yet. But right now we've just got the camera capture button on the iPhone 16 models, what the iPhone 15 models are lacking. And talk about that capture button. Really, it's been the same thing again. I've not really used this button, I'm going to be deadly honest. I think because I've got so used to using a smartphone and pinching in with on the screen, you know, on an iPhone 16 Pro Max, and got used to that with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and probably the last sort of, I don't know, 10, 12 years of iPhones that I've been using with pinch to zoom abilities and things like this. Really, the button is just not being used in my opinion. It's going to take a long time, I think, for a lot of you guys out there to reprogram our brains that we can actually use this button instead of pinching and using the screen. I can see the convenience of it, but again, because we're just so set in our ways now, really it's going to be tricky to adjust for this. And that is basically my personal opinion there. But then let's have a look at then some pictures here. Let's do some comparisons to what we have right here. So what we've got right here, we've got the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and this here is at a 0.5 zoom, what I've taken on a landscape, and then obviously I zoomed in here to the normal 1x wide zoom, then I did the 2x zoom, then I did the 5x zoom, and then after this I did the full digital all the way up to a 25x zoom here. And then the same here with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is at 0.5 zoom, then I went up to a 1x zoom, and then I did the 2x crop, and then after that I did the 5x zoom, and then after that the full digital 25x zoom. And to be deadly honest, as you saw there wasn't really any differences whatsoever. And to be honest, I'm going to say it's the same with nighttime photography. Have a look here. This here is the wide camera on the iPhone 16, and then obviously I used that 5x zoom just to see what that would look like. And then here we go, look, here's a comparison again on the iPhone 15 Pro Max at the normal wide, and then here's the 5x zoom. So now we're going to record at 60 frames per second at 4K, and we're going to zoom right in. I'm at 0.5 here on video. We're now at 1x, 2x, oh, bit too fast, 5x, and now we can stretch it all the way up to the maximum 15x zoom, what you can do on video here, same as the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I'm talking about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. here it is, and we're at 0.5, and then I'm going to pinch up. We're going to go up to 1 times zoom there, and then we're going to go further. We're now at 2 times, and sorry about the wind noise because obviously it's a bit windy today, good old Britain. Up to 5 times, and then let's stretch this all the way up then to the maximum 15 times zoom that you get there. Really, there is not a lot of difference between this. And again, maybe that's a bit disappointing to see, but then it's starting to make you think, even at this stage, you know, what's the point in getting an iPhone 16 Pro Max if the iPhone 15 Pro Max can do all of these abilities that we've already talked about? Well, I think there is one extra thing then, what is really, really good, what the iPhone 16 Pro Max does have over the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and that is a bigger and better battery and also fasting speeds. This to me is probably the big sort of standout thing that I've noticed in the last 30 days. My iPhone 16 Pro Max on the new MagSafe charger has definitely charged up a lot faster, and I've noticed that, and also that the battery life has lasted longer than it has before. Now, my old iPhone 15 Pro Max that I've got here, what I've been using for a whole year, this has been actually on a 94% battery, you know, after a year, and to be honest, you know, that is 6% difference, but I am getting way further ahead with my iPhone 16 Pro Max with how much battery capability I'm getting there. Even if this was, let's say, a 94%, I would definitely be able to tell that the iPhone 16 Pro Max is way leaps and bounds ahead than what we've got with the last iPhone. So yeah, there is a difference there. But then what about the pricing and the value then of the iPhone 16 Pro Max? Well, it came in at the exact same price as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, at least in US dollars, and here in the UK at least. I don't know about other countries, but you know, that's a story for another day. But the main thing is that the price, you know, is exactly the same. And what I want to say after 30 days of using the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I would say that, to be honest, have I missed my iPhone 15 Pro Max? Probably not. And, you know, I would actually also argue if I had 30 days to return my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and if I wasn't a tech reviewer, I personally probably wouldn't have upgraded. I probably would have stuck with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I want to say that out to people right now, that if you have got an iPhone 15 Pro Max and you're crazy enough to upgrade to the latest and greatest, if you want to be like that, personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't waste your money doing it. I would stay on an iPhone 15 Pro Max right now. I would only say if you're on, say, like an iPhone 13 Pro Max or maybe an iPhone 14 Pro Max potentially, that it's worth the update. It's not worth it for last year's model whatsoever, in my opinion here. But like I keep saying, that is my honest, opinion. You're getting all of the same features, technically the same on both of these phones. You know, the only difference is the capture button, what you'd have to get used to it. The larger screen, what's really just not noticeable. And the only thing I really, like I said, notice as an upgrade this time around is the battery life is better. Not hugely better, but it's definitely better, and also charging speed is also faster too, but it does not warrant an upgrade. And I would say right now, if you can find yourself an iPhone 15 Pro Max still available, if some retailers still have some in stock, because obviously Apple stopped making them, and you can get a really great deal where it's coming in, say, $200 or $300 less than the iPhone 16 Pro Max, personally, I would buy the iPhone 15 Pro Max if it was, say, about $200 or $300 less than an iPhone 16 Pro Max. But that is my verdict there. And with that as well, guys, what do you think? Do you think the iPhone 16 Pro Max is a worthy upgrade this year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And also with that too, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. Also, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons too, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.